explore the topic of resistance, or the things that can slow our progress toward our goals or nudge us away from traction. It's the stuff that gets in the way. It's important to acknowledge the potential sources of resistance in your life and strategize around how you might deal with them, because they drain and waste energy we need for the stuff we care about. Brittany's conversation about stripping her day to save her willpower for the most important stuff was also a good entry point into thinking carefully about what the psychologist called resistance. Aspects of an environment, office dynamics, personal practices, anything that introduces more resistance and distraction than is germane or kind of natural or necessary. In other words, it's really about cleaning up her schedule and her physical spaces in ways that lower resistance and make it easier to move through her days in high traction ways like she wants. To start, Brittany should think about two categories of action steps: prevention and reaction. Her first step was to reflect on what she could do to prevent her typical distractions, phone, TV, friends, and substances, from being as present or as easy to consume. She'd need to increase resistance between her and them by making them harder to see, access, open, or use. On the flip side, she also thought carefully about how she could lower the resistance between her and the things she wanted to do more consistently. In that case, she needed to decrease resistance between her and those things by making them easier to access, shorter to complete, simpler to remember, and finding other ways to make the experience smoother and more efficient. The ability to start and sustain focus is a key skill, and it can be developed through deliberate practice and the use of specific techniques. And distractions can significantly disrupt productivity during these times, so it's really important to develop strategies to prevent them from ever happening and for responding to them when they inevitably do. Some of the most primary sources of distractions include your technology, digital devices, communication tools, software, apps, etc., social media, notifications, updates, kind of that dopamine reward loop, context switching or thinking that you can multitask. We'll get into this more. The brain does not multitask very effectively. And then interruptions, right? Just making sure we can block out any unnecessary interruptions. Cal Newport has 5 keys to dealing with distractions, which includes identifying the root cause. Usually that's going to be some sort of unpleasant emotion. Eliminating any digital clutter, practicing deep work strategies, which will be coming up in lesson 7, scheduling time for what we call shallow work that requires less sort of cognitive effort or brain energy, and learning to embrace boredom.